I have a confession to make. Even though I've made many Linux videos, I daily drive Windows 11 to this day. But unlike that Linux Mint video, I want to use another distro for longer than a month. I don't need to explain how annoying or bad Windows 11 is at this point, but I refuse to give up on Linux. I'm going to daily drive Nobara and dual boot into Windows when necessary. Nobara is a solid alternative to Bazite for gaming, and the proof is in the pudding. With it being Fedora based, it's the Goldilocks of Linux. Not too behind, but not too cutting edge. Although I'm going to need to reinstall Nobara because of issues in my last Linux video. So I think you guys know the drill. Okay, we're now on a fresh, crispy install of Nobara. Let's make a quick checklist of things I want to be able to do in Nobara. From gaming, to my daily software, to a video editor, and finding a good Photoshop alternative. Thanks to my previous experience with Linux in my other videos, I have a good idea of what I'm able to do and what I can't. One thing I love about Nobara is it's beginner friendly. It provides a convenient way to get DaVinci resolved from its hello screen, along with other programs you'll likely use. It gives a good first impression out of the gate. But let me go ahead and install and update some drivers real quick. I got all of my software I used downloaded and installed now. You can easily find what you're looking for within Flatpost in Nobara. I think it looks cleaner than Mint's in my opinion. You can search for what you want, or go through these categories to find what you're looking for. You can even install emulators from this software manager too. This pop-up was a little finicky when installing things, but chances are, the program is already installed. Just close it, and you're good to go if it lingers for too long. My DualSense controller was able to be recognized in Nobara. As you guys can tell, I can clearly click buttons, move the sticks. It even recognizes this too. It is a wire connection instead of wireless, but either way, you can still connect a DualSense controller or an Xbox controller within Linux. And we can check this off the list. First game we're testing is Elden Ring. I ran into a CUDA out of memory error while recording, so the footage is lower quality than usual, but don't worry, I only had this issue for this title. The game looks amazing, and I can play it on the max preset at 60 FPS when not recording. In this clip, I used the high preset, but my system handles max settings just fine. And yes, I know I'm very early in the game. Don't roast me in the comments. I plan on playing more of this game, I promise. Next up is Persona 5 Royal. Walking around Central Street, FPS hits 60 to 90 frames per second. Keep in mind, Persona titles were originally designed for 30 FPS, so even the lower frame rates feel smooth. Challenge battles bump FPS into the low hundreds, though it doesn't give any competitive advantage in a turn-based JRPG. Tested at max settings, 1440p, running under Proton GE. For a multiplayer title you can actually play on Linux, here's the finals. Playing it on the low preset, auto DLSS, and low ray tracing, as you guys can tell, I'm clearly a pro at the finals and know what I'm doing.
Stop the cap!
But for real, on average, I land in the 80s or 90s for FPS. Not the absolute best, but comparable to what I get on Windows. Keep in mind, my PC was built in late 2020, so it's not the most powerful or up-to-date build. The finals, in my experience, isn't exactly optimized. Now let's get this checklist caught up. You might have noticed one of the things on the checklist is to get Fortnite possibly running underneath Linux. Well, I have attempted to under both Lutris and Heroic Games Launcher, but it doesn't actually let me download it, besides warning me I can get banned. So either I'm clearly a Linux noob who missed a workaround, or Fortnite still can't be played underneath Linux. Honestly, it's probably both. To fix my Stream Deck issue, I'm going to be installing this program called OpenDeck and see what it does. Okay, so far so good, it's successfully installed. Let's see if it actually works. OpenDeck has successfully been installed. Thank you for installing OpenDeck. My Stream Deck is actually working. All the buttons on it are all black, just like they are right here. Okay, so there's a bunch of different plugins you can use for this program. Let me maximize that. It kind of looks like there's more plugins than the actual Stream Deck program on Windows, but maybe I'm just seeing things. Let's plot this in the middle. Yeah, it's working.
Psych!
Wine could not find a Wine mono package which is needed for .NET applications to work correctly. Getting my Stream Deck working is now checked off the list. Let's work on this last item on the checklist, customizing Nobara to my liking. From cleaning up the system tray, to messing with the task manager, no, not that thing you're used to in Windows, the taskbar is called the task manager here, and exploring widgets and wallpapers in Nobara, there's some nice options to get started with. Without boring you all, I messed with some settings, and added things like CPU and RAM usage widgets, along with the background being blurred when using an active window. For the sake of not dragging this video, we can check off our last item. Overall, I gotta say I think I'll love Nobara. The hardest part of switching to Linux is just trying to get used to a different experience than Windows. I've been on Windows all my life, so it's easy to fall back into what I know. No judgment if you're in the same boat. For now, I'll probably stick with dual booting, since I still play some kernel level anti-cheat games and use Adobe software like Photoshop for thumbnails. That said, I'm really curious about Winboat and might explore it on my own or even make a video about it. Let me know what you think down below and I'll make it happen. I'm JustSomeTechie. Catch you all in the next one. See ya then.